Hello, crypto miners. Hi, every Polygoners and all Twitter friends. My name is Mary, and today we have a very special AMA or interview for you, and it's Polygon. Yes. And I think we have a co-founder here somewhere. Let's see if we can find Mr. Sandeep and Mr. Johnny. Are you here, guys? Let's see. There we have someone. Sandeep, you have to say yes to the request, I think. Where do we have Johnny? There we go. Hello, Sandeep. Very welcome to Crypto Miners.
Hey, Mary. Thanks for
Hey.
inviting me here.
Oh, it's an honor to have you here. I'm excited for this AMA. Do we have anyone else joining? Johnny, is he here?
Johnny, I don't think so. But I think we have BSC News. I don't know. Somewhere I got
Yes.
BSC News message that they also wanted to co-host. So I think but maybe you guys see if you want to bring them up.
I'm inviting them up as well. We'll see. And we have the main Polygon as well. Maybe we can have them up here as well. So guys, you have to accept the invitation. There we go. Very good. Great. Welcome, BSC News.
Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you, crypto miners, and great to be here, obviously, with you, Sandeep, as well. I'm really looking forward to learning more about Polygon. Thank you.
So who are you, sir? What's your name?
My name is Tom.
Tom. Hi,
Yeah.
Tom. Very
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you.
And Sandeep, shall we start without Johnny and see if he comes later on?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, because this is a great opportunity, everyone, to listen to Mr. Sandeep Nailwal. How do you say your last name, Sandeep?
Yeah, you said it perfectly.
Nailwal. Oh, it's like a whale. Val in Swedish is whale, so there you go.
I make fun of it. I say that nail and wall, like you put the nail on the wall. So just say nail and wall.
Nail wall. Now you have another one. You can be a whale instead.
Yeah.
Whale of nails or polygons. MATICs, I mean. So, Mr. Sandeep, you are one of the co-founders. How many co-founders are there to Polygon?
We have like total 9 co-founders. It was originally started by like 3 of us, but we merged really great companies in between, working on ZK research and all that. And I mean, we decided that considering the kind of talent these people are, like it makes total sense to upgrade them to the or to have them as the co-founder status of this new version of Polygon, which is like fully ZK enabled layer 2 blockchains. So now we have 9.
Okay, but you were one of the first
Yes.
3 then.
Yes.
Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. So what did you do before Polygon started?
So
where were you active in crypto?
before Polygon, I was doing a lot of programming myself, like trying to build some products, especially for some clients, like not directly till that time. And I was looking to build some product. In between, I thought of building a perpetual or a derivatives exchange. At that point in time, there were a lot of, like, 2017 or 2016, and there were a lot of spot exchanges, but there were no derivative exchanges. So for a brief time, I thought of doing that. But eventually I ended up meeting my other co-founders, over Bitcoin, groups, in India. And then, then we all 3 of us, we joined hands and we started Polygon. Yeah. But before that
So,
also,
so, so
I was doing this
yeah.
Ethereum dApps already, right? So the problem was very clear for me that, Ethereum doesn't scale beyond a certain point, and then we will need,
Hmm.
some sort of like heavy level of scalability if we want this to go mainstream. And somehow I don't know why, but like I like even now I can't tell you where that intuition used to come, and now that intuition is proving increasingly right, that we did not want to do the scaling on layer 1. We always wanted to do the scaling on layer 2, because we thought that on layer 1, if that scalability dilemma, you can't have too many transactions on layer 1, otherwise it starts becoming or tends to become centralized. So
Hmm.
the scalability, if you want to achieve, it can happen only on layer 2. So that's where, this whole process of like starting MATIC network happen.
So you saw a big problem, and you and your friends started to try and solve it, and that's why you started. But it didn't, you didn't name it Polygon. First it was MATIC network,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, it was.
Back in 2017.
Yes, it was MATIC network, and at that point in time we were doing this one thing, which was building plasma based layer 2 chains. And what happened is that we started that in 2017, end of 2017 or early 2018. And then by the time we were about to release our mainnet, most of the industry had discarded the plasma approach. And this is mid of 2020, and so many people raised like 10 times, 20 times more money than us, in terms of VC funding and all that, and we could not get any funding whatsoever. By that time, I think we had only raised like 165, 200K or something like that. And then it was very like low amount of funding. And then the people who raised like these large VC rounds and all that, they all gave up and started something else. Whereas we were the only one which ended up delivering a plasma, like a working production ready plasma solution, in back in 2020, mid of 2020. And then, once we launched it, we realized that a lot of people were not using plasma. They were more keen on using the other like simple sidechain guarantees, security guarantees, instead of this one. So that's why, it was based, like the MATIC was purely based on like plasma approach. And then with the why we kind of created this, like this Polygon, and rebranded to Polygon, is that we had already learned this hard lesson that in this industry the approaches keep on changing. Like before us it was state channel, then it became plasma, then it became optimistic rollup, now it has become zk rollup, and in future it will become something else. So we wanted to be an approach agnostic blockchain scaling platform. Like the end goal, the mission is to get the mass adoption, no matter which technology it needs, right? Like that's where we want to reach. Our goal is to reach the mass adoption. And that's why, we when we brought, kind of worked on this entire thesis of a multi-chain Ethereum layer 2, which will provide various different kinds of flavors to the chains and all that. We wanted that to reflect in our brand. And also, like one goal was that we want to build something which stays there for decades to come, right? The technology that we are building, that stays there for decades to come, and that, like, imagine we end up having 10 to 15% of the entire crypto, which is our goal, like entire cryptos transactions. Let's say we start approaching maybe 10.
That's a
Yeah,
goal.
10 to 20%. Like
Hmm.
already I think that number is looks smaller now, because if you go by the total number of transactions, I think we would already be processing more than 20% of the entire blockchain, maybe 10%, like, because some of the blockchains have too many transactions without not very value transaction. But if you consider Ethereum, like 1 million transactions, Polygon has 4 million transactions, BSC also probably does 3-4 million transactions. So I'm guessing like its percentage is high, but that's the goal. The goal is that eventually do a significant portion of transactions, the user application transactions that are happening in Web3. And if that happens, our brand should reflect that, and that's the story behind like why we rebranded to Polygon instead of MATIC. Yeah.
So can you tell me something about the name? Why MATIC and now why Polygon? Where does the name come
Yes.
from? Do they mean
Yeah,
something?
so MATIC was like, kind of we wanted to keep a short name, but also wanted to say like automatic. Automatic is kind of like, something that moves fast. So, just MATIC part of it. And that was like not a very well thought through decision. Like, we just wanted to have like, okay, some small name which is easy to catch. Like we just started calling it MATIC Network. Later on, then we realized that, actually Matic is a very famous surname in for Serbian people, and then there is a famous football player also, and we realized, oh, that is also one mistake.
Oh.
So later on when we were rebranding, so Polygon, but like Polygon as the name suggests, it's a you can already see poly means multi approach. That's which I said that we did not want to pigeonhole us into like one kind of, let's say, optimistic rollup or ZK rollup or any kind of this thing. We just want to provide scalability to blockchain, and we believe that it blockchain and mass adoption is going to come from Ethereum layer 2 or the chains built on top of Ethereum. So poly means like multi approach multi approach platform for scaling blockchains.
And nice to hear the story behind everything. I mean, if you met someone, let's say you meet me, and I don't really know much about crypto. I've heard of crypto. Maybe I've heard of Bitcoin. How do you explain Polygon to me in a few sentences? Very like,
yeah. So
what's the easy way?
if you have already heard of crypto or blockchains, like I would simply explain that both these base layer this basically internet is a internet this web3 is internet of value. Like the current web2 is internet of information. This is internet of value, where value can transact easily. And you have these base layers of value, which is Bitcoin or Ethereum, where the large amount of value stays, and these are very secure platforms, highly decentralized. Let's consider Ethereum only, like Bitcoin for the time being, let's not include. So Ethereum is basically the base layer where all this value gets created, and it is highly decentralized. It can also provide security to you and all that. So Polygon basically piggybacks on that security and decentralization Ethereum provides, and provides its more scalability on the layer 2 blockchain. Like, because Ethereum is incredibly slow, because it's extremely decentralized, extremely secure, but for applications but it has a very low bandwidth, then applications can't use it. So for applications who can use millions and millions of users, who can have millions and millions of users, for them it's like a layer 2, or you can say secondary layer blockchain platform, which are built on top of Ethereum. And you try to provide them make them as secure and as decentralized as possible, but your focus is on scale. So basically it's a platform to scale blockchains which are inherently slow, but on top of blockchain. Instead of building the base layer blockchain, we built layer 2 or secondary layer blockchains.
Yeah, and what is it built for? What can I use it for?
So you can use it for any kind of crypto transactions you use today. Like you can use it for simply payments. You can use it for creating NFTs. You can use it for creating fungible tokens like ERC20s. You can build DAOs. Like basically anything that you can do on Ethereum, you can do on Polygon also. Like, we also sometimes joke that if you are a Ethereum platform, if you are a Ethereum developer, you are already a Polygon developer, right? So most of the teams who are building on Ethereum, they have their stores on Polygon. Like, let's say recently that there was some report from one particular like VC, I think Electric Capital, and there they said that Ethereum has 5,000 developers and Polygon had 1,000 developers and all that. But it's very few developers who actually write Polygon in their GitHub repository, because they are scraping the GitHub repositories. But if you go into all those 5,000 Ethereum applications, you will find like a good chunk, like 80% of them would have their applications deployed on Polygon also. So that way, like Polygon would be just after Ethereum, some of the biggest or the biggest platform by developers also. So yeah.
But Polygon claims to be faster and cheaper,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
That's the big thing. Yeah.
That's what I meant by scalability. That means you can have fast transactions, you can have cheaper transactions, and you can have larger number of transactions. For example, Ethereum today does 13 transactions per second, 1 3, right? And Polygon chain can, technically do up to 1,000 transactions per second, and it has a theoretical capacity of like going to even 60,000 and all that. But that's not the focus. The focus is to provide, like, it a capacity of, like, let's say 10 to 20 times that of Ethereum main chain, and in a secure and decentralized manner. Now we are launching multiple other solutions like zk EVM, which is secured fully by Ethereum, but it will have a higher TPS. Initially it will start with probably like 50 to 100 TPS, but eventually, the goal is to process thousands and thousands of transactions per second on this secondary layer with one or more chains.
Nice. I see now we have Johnny up here, and Tom is raising his hand. So let's bring them both in, one after each other. Johnny, welcome up.
Hey, happy to be here, everybody. Look, I'm looking at the room right now, and I'm surrounded by a lot of amazing, intelligent people, but we have 470 people in the space. We got 9 retweets. So I want everybody to go to that bottom right chat button, hit your retweets, comment in here. Let's get more eyes on it. We got Sandeep over here talking about Polygon, which I believe to be the future of technology in Web3, producing a lot of amazing things. So let's get the people in here, and let's retweet this room. Let's go, everybody.
You heard him. All right, Tom, what's up? What do you have on your mind?
Thank you. Hello, thank you. And sorry, I didn't mean to raise my hand twice as well. It might have looked a bit rude, so apologies if that offended anyone. Anyway, Sandeep, it's been really interesting hearing what you've had to say about Polygon. I mean, I'm a user of the chain. I obviously don't know much about it in comparison to you whatsoever. However, I was wondering, obviously, Polygon isn't the only layer 2 out there. There are many, and it's relatively easy for someone to even create their own layer 2 or just a fork of Ethereum to an extent themselves. However, what separates Polygon from other layer 2s, and has it sort of got a unique selling point to it? It's perhaps got a specific purpose in comparison to other layer 2s, but what really separates Polygon from other layer 2s?
Yeah. So I think, like, technology wise, eventually all these solutions like layer 1s, layer 2s, they all start tending to one common denominator, right? Like one common solution. So technology wise, they are all almost similar. Everyone is like, slightly ahead, or like, for example, for the ZK enabled layer 2, we are the farthest ahead in terms of launching our mainnet versus, on optimistic rollups, for example, Optimism and Arbitrum are doing good job and all that. So technology wise, and there are nuances. For example, on Arbitrum and Optimism, you have single operator. Like if there is one centralized operator who's running the transactions, so you can process the transactions faster. But obviously that is a single operator running the chain, but it is trustless and all that, so you can have certain level of trust on the operator. So that's one nuance with that. Polygon, on the other hand, is a high, like for a layer, a secondary layer, or like a layer 2 platform. I would say secondary layer, not layer 2. Layer 2 people have a very specific definition about it. So secondary layer platform, it has like 100 plus validators, and they do a consensus amongst them. So, and you get a partial finality. Like partial finality means for you a transaction confirmation takes like 2 to 3 seconds, and then that then later on gets materialized on Ethereum. So one of the unique values is obviously this, that it has 100 validators on the layer 2, and then once these ZK solutions are coming in, then you get not only a ZK proved or a ZK secured chain, but also decentralized zk secure chain, which I think is considered the holy grail of layer 2 platforms. So that's where we are progressing towards. But I think the major difference that gets created for the platform war today is by the network effects. Like on Polygon, if you see, I think even now with all some of these layer 2s coming up and all that, and then the anticipation of tokens coming in and all, even then Polygon has on DeFi, after Ethereum, and then BSC and Tron are also there. But after Ethereum, Polygon has the highest amount of liquidity, a fairly high amount of volume. These kind of things are there. And then we are like at basically number 4 with 1.118 billion dollar liquidity. And this is when there is no incentive. So organic volume is there. Then if you see gaming, like Polygon is arguably the largest gaming platform, almost like many, like if you do a research amongst, let's say, random samples of 2 3 10 projects, and you will realize that out of 10, 6 7 of them will be having their Polygon deployment or something like that. So gaming is also big. And then you have these marketplaces like OpenSeas and Magic Edens and Raribles of the world. They are all over there. Plus then you go to the DAOs. I think we have like probably orders of magnitude larger number of DAOs deployed on Polygon or Aragon. And some of these some of these DAO platforms are built on Polygon only. So DAO governance is happening over there. So all of this creates a lot of network effects. For example, Polygon chain is directly integrated into all the major exchanges, including Binance, including Coinbase, and almost all the smaller exchanges. So for the developers, it provides a very highly integrated production ready environment. The chain is also fairly stable. In its history of last 2.5 years, I think there is only one time where there was an upgrade, and due to that, some had chain stability issues. But apart from that, the chain has has been very stable, and this is the reason due to which, like, the large brands, whether it's Nike or Starbucks or large tech brand, including Instagram and Reddit, they all have their integrations onto Polygon, and they mint their NFTs particularly on Polygon. This all is due to these network effects that the users get. And I think with ZK EVM coming in and all that, like like the instant transactions, for example, because ZK EVM will also have a initially start with single operator, so instant transactions, security by Ethereum, while maintaining the low cost. These one or two features also Polygon will be able to achieve. So I think as a developer, in a simple word, I will say that you have a place where you have everything. What kind of application you want to build? Are you a highly you are a DeFi platform, and then you want to build a very secure financial application? You would probably go to the upcoming ZK EVM. If you are a gaming project who wants to have a lot of social aspects to it and all that, and composability, you will probably use Polygon PoS chain, which also has some significant upgrades coming in, by the way. And then if you are a big enough game or big enough application, social media application, where you feel that you want to you want to basically have your own dedicated capacity, you can choose Polygon Supernets and create your own chain. So the intention here is to build like that AWS, like Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Service, like in the decentralized setting, for this decentralized computation. And for the developers, the biggest value prop is that once you come in here, whatever kind of solution you need, you have that solution there, plus whatever kind of infrastructure tooling requirement you have, all those toolings are integrated. So giving the developers the free playground to come and build whatever they want to build is the main differentiating factor with these network effects. I mean, today only I was reading a report that now Polygon has larger number of daily active users than Ethereum mainchain, which is kind of surreal for us also. And I think it is second only to Binance chain, which gets like, which has a 770k daily active users, and Polygon has around 560 or 570. But Binance obviously is a huge exchange, and due to the exchange they get a lot of rub-off effect into the chain. But the Polygon has like larger number of users. So network effects, I would say, and all encompassing suite for the developers are the two main things which Polygon provides.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much for the very comprehensive answer, Sandeep. I have got one other question as well. Mary, is it okay if I ask one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
asked exactly the questions I wanted to ask anyway, so that's perfect.
Oh, fantastic. My next question was very different to the last one. It was about your recent sort of onboarding with Disney's accelerator program. I think that was sort of mid 2022 or so. And that, yeah, caused quite a lot of excitement in the Polygon community. Would you be able to tell us a little bit more about that and sort of what's involved there? And are you going to be maybe partnering with Disney in the long term?
Yeah. I mean, that's the intent there is to build these end user applications. Like last 1.5 years we have before all these problems with some of these exchanges and stable coins going bust last year, which helped no one, and even scared away the mainstream. Like I think one of our biggest goal, as I said, that the mission of Polygon is to achieve mass adoption, and that mass adoption we can either go slow with these niche communities, as we say, degen communities, who would have a like 60,000, 100,000 daily active users on DeFi, and some of them on the PFP, NFTs and all that. But that's a very small number. Eventually, if we want Web3 to achieve mass adoption, we need to make sure that these big tech who have hundreds of millions of users, we need to make sure that the companies which are like these enterprise companies and things like that, they are able to adopt Web3. And that's where all these brands and these things come in. And we believe that due to these brands, we can open the floodgates of the end users coming into Web3. And that's where we have been very focused on this one. And we want to bring in more users. As you can see that, for example, Reddit itself is alone 6 million NFT holders are there on Reddit, I think, which is OpenSea's like 2 to 3 times of the overall user base of OpenSea. You can imagine. And Reddit has launched like in a very light manner for now. In currently, like it's a very light headed, like light touch product they have launched. And imagine when they open the floodgate. Same goes with Instagram. So Instagram mints their NFTs exclusively on Polygon. And right now they are doing specific tests, like with specific user groups. But imagine when they open floodgates. So that's where we want to go, is to make this easier for mainstream brands and big tech to adopt Web3. And overall education also. When Nike swoosh, like somebody ends up buying an NFT for Nike swoosh, or you are like you are using Starbucks loyalty app, which is a very, very famous app in US, and some in the Western countries, you use something, you get some interface into this. Like you get to know, okay, there is something called NFT or digital collectible over there. Okay, what it is. And out of 100 people, 2 people will choose that. Okay, let's see what it is. And then maybe out of those 2 people, one of them might join the Web3 community. So that's the intent and goal over there, is to take blockchains on the mainstream somehow.
Fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Sandeep, again for your very comprehensive, in-depth answers. And thank you, Mary, for letting me have the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for your questions. So I wanted, because you have mentioned it a few times now already, Sandeep, the mass adoption. What does it really mean, and what does it really take to get mass adoption? I mean, you mentioned a few things, but the normal person who isn't very well known with technical stuff, and like many people listening in here now are maybe developers, or they know their way around the tech stuff, but the average person, the average Joe, or what it's called in English, he doesn't know that. And how can we get him in here, or her, into crypto, and what What will it take? What's your take on that, Sandeep? What do you think?
Yes. So first of all, you asked two questions in this. Like, what do I mean by mass adoption? And then second question is that what are the things which can bring in
The
the mass adoption?
non-tech people. Yeah.
You know. Yes. So so let's take the first question. Like, what does mass adoption mean for me? In the very long run, mass adoption, like, it's generally considered that if a particular technology has started touching 100 million users, it is considered to be fairly widely used in technology. And once you cross 100 million users, like, then you are on your path to reach like 1 billion users eventually. But $100 million, let's say, is the benchmark. Now let's see where we are today. If you see the entire blockchain space, and if you even with Ethereum, and I just said that Polygon has larger than Ethereum main chain daily active users, and if you include these common addresses and all that, who are already transacting on these various chains, you will find that this entire space has like probably 2 million daily active users, which is 2 million daily active users is basically sometimes mildly or average successful game, right? And an average successful game, one single game, is or has that number of DAU, daily active users, sometimes. And imagine, like, we all are here, and this industry is like $1 trillion in its value, and how many people use it on the daily basis? 2 million users. Like, gaming industry, for example, which is like $3 trillion, that has like probably, I don't know, maybe 100 million or even more than that daily active users. The entire gaming space, I'm saying, it must be easily
Yeah.
more than 100 million. So it's very disproportionate, because our industry is very speculative, speculation, prone to speculation. So we already are factoring in the valuation of the future when we might have like 50, 60, 100 million users. So my goal for mass adoption is like, or step by step plan, which I feel is that today we are in 2023, start of 2023, we have 2 million active users. And I feel that with the ZK EVM mainnet we are launching, it will like become more stable over time and all that. And I want to see, probably from my side, by the mid of next year, probably this going to somewhere between 5 to 10 million users. From there, from today we are like 2 million to 3 million users. I want to go to somewhere around, let's say, 5 to 10 or 8 to 10 million users by the mid of next year, or let's say even end of next year. That's 2024. And by that time, I think we will be ready for the bigger push. And in 2024 to 2025, in that 1.5 years, once everything is ready, then we can probably push to like users between, let's say, 50 to 80 million users in the span of 2 years after 2024. Because by that time, I believe end of 2024, we will have most of these layer 2 technology and scalability on blockchain largely solved, and it's then the focus will completely move into the applications. So that's where, like, step by step, I think that 24 to 26, I feel that it should be somewhere around 50 to 80 million users, or approaching 100 million users in by 25, 26, 27. And then from there, like that the industry has reached a place where it is ready for the explosion means like from 100 million to going to a billion users, and becoming a normal part of our lives, as we
Yeah.
see the WhatsApp and all that. So that's that part. Second part is like, what is needed in order to reach there. And there are two things that are needed, right? So one is the scalability part, because the scalability right now, I don't think, like, if let's say today suddenly Instagram opens up 50 million users to the web3, even if they use all the blockchains, Ethereum, Polygon, no matter, like some layer ones like Solana, Avalanche, whoever, they will be able to choke the entire blockchain industry. All layer ones, all layer twos, I think we will not be able to take 50 million daily active users who are fairly engaged. So the scalability is not there. Even though we keep talking about it, billions of dollars have gone into funding into the layer ones, we are not yet fully ready with the scalability. So scalability needs to be solved, and obviously we see that, our ZK VM is an inflection point in that, because now you can prove, like you can do a lot of computation off chain and prove it back to Ethereum at a very low cost, without even sometimes putting the data back on Ethereum. So, that's a big inflection point. But, I think by end of this year or mid next year, we will be ready with that scaling to a certain level of maturity. So scaling is needed. Second, the most important thing after that is user experience. User experience is basically like, right now managing your keys and all these things are very, very hard. We all are working towards account abstraction, where you can have social recovery and, various different kind of mechanisms where you can, like, average user, without getting into the technicalities of it, signs up with their email, does meta transactions, doesn't need to know about gas and all that stuff. I think that's the
That's the
next.
key, I think. Yeah,
That
you're right there. That's the
yeah.
key.
It has to be very, very simple, click, click, click kind of Web2
Yeah.
experience. To the end user, you can't go and that, tell him that, oh, there is this much complexity. Why? Because you are using crypto. Like, they are saying, okay, I don't want to use crypto. So that will be needed, but you need those elements of like self custody and all that. Otherwise, what happens is what we saw in November, right? Like FTX and all that. Like, when you move away from the basic ethos of Web3, then all these problems also come up. So, maybe people are looking towards account abstraction, people are looking towards MPC kind of solutions, where users have some self custody, but they are also kind of guarded by like a institutional solution or things like that. So that is also there. And apart from this scalability, apart from this, like the UX, I think like the last piece that will remain eventually, like, but that's, we don't need to solve it today. Like, last two pieces actually to like really open the floodgates are privacy and identity. But those are the problems to talk, maybe 1.5 2 years from now. But I seriously hope that we solve scalability in next 2 years. And if I come back on your crypto miners show in 2026, we are talking about, identity and privacy that time. So yeah, that'll be a dream come true. That means scalability has been solved, and enterprises and big companies are coming in, and they want more privacy for their users.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. When the last thing that you said that with you have to just do click click very, very easy, and you shouldn't even know that it's blockchain technology behind the thing that you're using, that's real mass adoption in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, we're getting there somehow soon, but not yet. So,
Yep.
what's the future like for Polygon? What is your vision for the future now, and what are you working on at the moment?
So the future for Polygon, as I said, that, first thing that we need to solve fully is the scalability. And that's where we are working very heavily towards many of these ZK based solutions. ZK VM mainnet is like just around the corner for us. After that, we have like a Polygon Zero, which is working on a very specific ZK project, and it's a very exciting thing. But I can't right now talk more about it, but very soon. And then we have like end of this year, not end of this year, in fact, the first testnet for Maiden, Polygon Maiden will come in, which will enable people not only to build in Solidity but other programming languages. And you can build like large level of computations, like large scale computations also. That will be Polygon Maiden. So these are the three key things. Parallelly, like Polygon ID is doing well, and we hope to, if Polygon ID reaches a particular point, we hope that we'll be able to provide and solve this like identity layer once and for all, because that's the last frontier for the mass adoption of blockchains, like obviously with privacy.
Yeah, okay. So Sandeep, before we start unmuting some people here, they have questions, and I want to let some people come up and ask questions to you. How much time do we have? Do you have to be somewhere soon, or?
I think we have scheduled like 19 more minutes on this. After that, I have to rush for a meeting. But yeah, we have 19 minutes. Is that not okay? Not enough?
No, it's okay. We have to follow your schedule. Absolutely. So there are 3 people unmuted in here now, so you'll have 2 minutes each
Hello,
or something
guys.
to ask questions.
We have
Midnight?
Smokey's hand is up.
Smoky's hand is up and Midnight is talking.
Well, I've had my hand up for past 40 minutes, so.
All right, quickly. What is your question,
No,
Midnight?
no. So, I've been involved in tech. Well, I live and breathe technology. So, when everyone talks mass adoption and tech being scalable, I think it's going to take us more than 2 years to get to that scalability part where we can actually cope with the user base that is out there in tech. Especially, the way we're operating right now, we're not really doing a good job. So what are we doing? What is Polygon doing to actually improve, keeping users safe, one, educating users, and how are you guys working with your team in order to bring more safety into the environment?
Yeah. So currently, like as you said, that the main goal, as I also explained, that the main goal for us is to launch this ZK rollup that we are going to ZK EVM, as we call it, Polygon ZK EVM, and bring it out, as soon as possible. And we are like just about there, and bring and provide this layer 2 chain for the end users, wherein this is fully secured by Ethereum. So the security on a certain level is provided by Ethereum. And then obviously the solution will launch. We have done multiple audits on the solution, and obviously from our side done our best to have the most, like, as audited as possible chain. So on that front, we are trying to do our best. Plus we have some fail safe mechanisms initially, so that we can ensure that there is no risk to the user funds. If you see even Polygon today, we our current bridge has seen like $80 billion go true and fro from the bridge, and we have never seen or never experienced even a single end users who have lost any kind of money via our bridge. It's secure. It takes time, but it's decentralized and secure. If you want like a faster bridge, you can use multiple layer other solutions. So we are doing that, and trying to keep as much security in our mind as possible. But then the other part of the security is the users handling of wallets, right? And I think that can only be solved when account abstraction is like kind of adopted properly, because right now, like the biggest kind of issues that we see is that users losing their keys, or many of the time end up signing the wrong transactions. Signing wrong transactions can only happen like where MetaMask and all these things start using some sort of shields, like some sort of anti-spam kind of mechanisms, which they already do. They also show the warning if something is not right, but obviously those things are evolving. But I definitely feel that this self-custody using MPC or multi-sig accounts using account abstraction and all that are going to be critical. And that's where I feel that we have to keep working on. So make it safe to the user, but also make the platform and the bridging safer. These are the two biggest priorities, and we are constantly working on that.
Amazing. I'm going to let someone else ask questions because then you've got limited time. I'd love to speak to you more, but probably hopefully next time.
Sure, absolutely, man.
Thank you, Midnight. Let's bring on Smokey.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Thanks for having me up. Midnight actually asked kind of a similar question to something that I was thinking about. But yesterday we had somebody that got hacked, and it was pretty big. He was a founder of a very large NFT project. His name is Kevin Rose. So yeah, and he lost millions of dollars. He's very, very big figure in the space, and there's a lot of debate about this, and I'm just wondering, like, I think obviously we need like education to help educate users, but at the same time, like, it wasn't really education in the beginning of the internet that kept people from getting all the millions of Trojan horses and whatever other viruses were going around in the early internet, right? It was antivirus software, and like it was just built within the system to protect people, right? And it seems like Polygon is taking this approach to where like users will not even know that they're using the blockchain, right? And in order for users to not really even know that they're using like the base layer technology, they have to it just has to be like inherently safe. And I'm just wondering, like Sandeep, are you guys working with like MetaMask and other wallets to have like this base layer of security to where like when there's like different transactions going on, because like when I use like Zelle or something and I'm like sending it to somebody or some of these like sites, right? There's a lot of different like pop-ups that come up and like, hey, like, are you sure that this is what you want? Are you sure that this is this, right? And I'm just wondering, like, are you guys working with any of the wallets or to try to make things safer on that level?
Yeah, I mean, on a platform level, we like constantly remain in touch with many of these wallet providers. Speak with them, provide our inputs. There is even as I said, that some teams who are building MPC kind of what should I say, like basically intermediate solutions which are between a self custody and a fully sovereign wallet. But the problem is that there are so many different kind of attack vectors. Like one can easily recommend that, oh, you should use a ledger. Like somebody like Kevin Rose, they should use ledger. But then sometimes they end up like even if they are using ledger, somebody obfuscates the transaction or creates a transaction which has all the instructions in it, which is transferring various like assets out and things like that also can be played out. Even if you don't lose your key, but you can interact with some malicious this thing and don't read through the transaction data or transaction representation and sign something, and then also you can lose money. So there are multiple ways, and that's like that's one of the hardest questions in front of this industry, is that you want to be your own bank. And what happens is that then you end up becoming the big, or you end up taking a very big responsibility also. In the past, like there have been multiple things discussed. Even I have participated in some of those discussions, that like in the bank, for example, if somebody uses your credit card wrongly, then you have a 2-day window if we are able to raise, because they settle it in 3 + 2 days. And in that time, if you are able to raise a complaint, then the bank sometime can reverse you and all that. And I've always thought for the longest time, like what can be built in these kind of scenarios where the user's money doesn't go directly, but it takes some time to go to the other party. And then in between, if there is a fraud or something has happened, you can recall some of these things. Like imagine this Kevin Rose, like this level of NFT, these costly NFTs, one could take a service where, or subscribe to a service that wherever I'm going to transfer this, it will take at least, let's say, 2 days to go to the other side. And there is some sort of arbitration in between, in case there is a hack has happened or something like that. Then the transfer can be paused, and I'll be able to provide, and I would be able to provide all the documents or whatever proof I need to provide in order to claim the item back, right, or roll back this thing. So I think some of these things can be done at a smart contract level if people are cautious enough. But obviously that creates something that like you can't revert a transaction. Like you can't have the transaction settle before 2 days. So there are multiple such nuances to it. Like obviously with the wallets, MetaMask is trying to do a lot of work where when you are signing, it also tries to give you a brief, kind of description of what you are going to do with this transaction. But with this endless programming available, it's also hard for MetaMask to kind of judge every kind of transaction as to what you are going to do with that transaction, right? So yeah, I mean, it's a hard problem to solve. But I think this reversible thing, if somebody works on this, I feel that something can be done over there when you're doing things in a reversible manner. But obviously, many people don't like it, like at all. So I understand their side of opinions also.
It's a very hard question, yeah, to be DeFi and secure.
Yeah. Account abstraction, my big bet is on account abstraction, that once that comes in, like social recovery and many of these kind of mechanisms can be built in within account abstraction, and then something can be solved over there. Some design patterns will evolve over there. Yeah, sorry.
I'm sure some smart people will solve it eventually. Let's have Sphinx.
Hi,
here.
thank you very much.
Question?
Hi, Mary. Hi, Sandeep. Nice to talk to you again. Yeah, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I see a lot of people in the NFT community here who want to say one thing about the security. No matter how good Polygon or any other chain is, we cannot prevent what happened yesterday, okay? Having $2 million worth of NFTs and not having a multi-sig, or holding your valuable NFTs in the same wallet where you mint, those are things that are up to the user at the end of the day. And boy, have I tried to do research and brought up options of this concept of reversing. And Sandeep, every time I bring it up, it gets shot down. Blockchain is irrevocable. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. So I hear you. But what I wanted to do here was I wanted to just briefly talk about the trilemma of decentralization, because Sandeep talked about scaling a lot, and it's really important here, because basically if we're going to give up centralization here for decentralization, you have to think of it as a triangle. And at each point there is one of these: decentralization, security. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, decentralization, security, and scale. And the trilemma states that at most that any blockchain can have only two of these. Okay, so what's important is to realize why, when he says scale and then talks about trust or talks about security, it's the sweet spot is in the middle of the triangle. But that's like that's the trilemma. So that is what layer twos come in to do, right? So Ethereum, being secure and being very decentralized, isn't able to scale. So at most, if a chain is decentralized and very scalable, oftentimes it gives up on that security. So that is the mission, to sort of get inside that triangle. And so I just wanted to give that backdrop, where that's kind of like the main goal here. That's why scalability and building layer twos is so important. I just see a lot of people in the NFT community that don't think about this stuff, but that's why when he talks about layer twos and going to scale and providing this, that's why it's so necessary to build on Ethereum and other layer ones. Thank you so much, Sandeep.
Absolutely. And you said it very rightly, like the scalability trilemma, basically it says that out of three things: security, scalability, and decentralization, theoretically you can only choose two. So if you choose decentralization and security, then you have to sacrifice scale. If you choose scale and security, then you have to sacrifice on decentralization. And that's what you see. Like, for example, you have these layer one chains who claim that they have a very high degree of layer one of transactions, but then you realize that their machines to run those nodes are so big that it becomes very hard to decentralize those such chains. And only till the time there is some subsidy or something is happening few people will run it, till the time they get some validator rewards and all that. But eventually, if they get into a situation where they don't have enough security. The concept behind layer 2 is to break the scalability trilemma. What you do is you rely on some part of the decentralization and security on Ethereum, which is the layer 1, but on layer 2 you focus on scale. And that's how, instead of focusing on all three, layer 2 says scale, you focus on layer 2, and decentralization and security, some part of the security you borrow from Ethereum. And that's what I think Spinks was trying to tell you, that that's why layer 2s are important. And eventually, from the point of view from where I can also see as a blockchain smart contract developer before, and in some form like blockchain economics researcher, also like low-key researcher, not like in a full-blown researcher, I can also tell you that as of now I don't see a way where any particular layer 1 can say that, okay, we have like this high TPS, and we are also very decentralized. And if they have that kind of TPS, and they say, you still have to ask your question that no matter what kind of TPS a chain might have, like 10,000, 20,000 TPS or whatever it is, right? That TPS is not enough for the entire world's applications to run on. Like, what we are trying to build is Web3 for the entire world. So, when we sometimes compare with the TPS of Visa or MasterCard, like, just know that Visa is processing only Visa's transaction. But if you see on Ethereum, so many different kind of applications are being created, right? So if it becomes mass adopted, are you saying that on one particular layer the whole world's application will exist in one place? I don't think that's a practical future. And what we see is the practical future is Ethereum being that very sturdy decentralized layer of security, which provides security to these layer 2 chains, which can be thousands and thousands in number. And in those thousands and thousands of chains, you will have app chains which are running full blown large scale user operations, but still being secured by Ethereum. And you will have some of these layer 2s which will be like high liquidity hubs where all the liquidity resides. So yeah, so I fully agree with what's being said.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Sphinx. That's a really interesting question. I think I wanted to ask you, Sandeep. I know you don't have time now, but it was like an answer to that question already. What's the key and the most important question that we have to solve in this industry? And I think that's the triangle, and that was, yeah, it's really important. Or did you have something else that you wanted to bring up there too?
No, UX and scalability. These are the two biggest challenges. First, scalability. Like, you might think that right now, yes, right now we need UX. Some people do argue that right now the block space is enough for the few more millions of daily active users to be accommodated. Factually that is correct, but the problem is that those the applications who can bring in that number of users, kind of jump on this bandwagon right now, because they feel that, okay, we'll bring 1 or 2 million users. What happens after that? How do I bring 50 million users into this, right? So I strongly believe that the first step is to solve for scalability. But obviously these are parallel efforts. We don't need to only over index on one thing. Parallelly UX is being solved, and everybody is working, like, obviously a lot of layer 1 layer 2 projects are working on solving the scalability.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Sandeep, I don't want to hold you if you have somewhere else to be. It was a real pleasure to have you up here in Crypto Miners, and maybe we can have you on board again soon, so we can, because I think there's so many more questions here to be answered, and lots of people are trying to get their questions in. And I'm sorry, guys, that we didn't have more time. Maybe we can have another session soon, Sandeep. What do you say?
Absolutely. I was really, we have a very engaged 500 plus audience. Like, this is a very successful Twitter space. I would say thanks for inviting me, and definitely yes, let's do one more sometime in future.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. And I have one last question that I used to ask, and that is, what do you put on your pizza, Sandeep? Do you eat pineapple on your pizza?
No, absolutely not. I don't like it.
Okay. What do you put then?
I put like normal, like I love to eat a very like Indianized version of like very cheesy pizza with like a lot of pepperoni. That's my favorite.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
I wish you a nice evening
Yeah.
or day
Uh-huh.
over wherever you are. And to everyone in here, please make sure you follow everyone up on stage here if you want to know more. And come back soon to our next Twitter space. That is actually tomorrow already.
Absolutely.
So have a nice one, Sandeep. So
Yep.
grateful for
Thanks,
you
Mary. Thank
up
you,
here.
everyone.
And yeah,
Yeah.
thank you everyone for
Love
coming.
seeing you all here. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.